Hi everyone, this is Samuel Paw Pony, and this is going to be a little bit of a different video. So, originally I was going to post my PAW Patrol movie review, but I felt like this video was important because I accidentally forgot some stuff to include in my review. So, this is in a sense a sneak peek, if you will, of some of my thoughts for the stuff I forgot to put in my original review, as well as just clarifying some stuff I said in the review, so that way hopefully you guys don't get confused. Um, I apologize if I pause because I want to just check my notes and make sure I don't forget anything. And I want to just let you guys know about my thoughts in general for these topics because I am fully aware that I did forget stuff when I made my original review, and so this is to make up for those mistakes before I actually release said review. And like always, this video is for a general or mixed audience, meaning adults and kids are allowed to watch this. So, without further ado, let's get started. Hold on. Okay, so these are going to be topics that I forgot to mention in my review, so I wanted to just give my quick thoughts on it. So, the beginning of the movie actually starts out with a rescue, which we see in regards to a truck driver delivering something until he ends up going off the bridge and the team needs to rescue him. Granted, I did mention this, however, I did not go into full detail, and so I wanted to just mention some things. Not only do I like the shots used during the rescue and the pups being called to the lookout, I also like some of the stuff they do, like with Rocky being the one to leave, and I apologize if I mess this up. How Ryer tells him to put I don't know what they're called, but like some like cone spikes or whatever to basically block the area so that way they can do their rescue. This was a nice addition because, again, in the show, we have never seen Rocky even use something like that. It's always been chased with his cones. For the rescue, it was also good, especially considering that Zuma, although we never actually saw Ryder tell him this, when you see the truck dangling off the bridge, you can see the water below it, and when you look below, it looks as if Zuma has a water version of traffic cones to block off the area in case the truck were to fall in the water, and you even see his hovercraft with him in it on the side. And of course, you have the interaction, like we've seen in the trailer many times, with the truck driver and Chase, who, of course, because he's a puppy, the driver thinks this is a joke. I'm waiting for actual rescue to come. This is something obviously he is not familiar with because he's never been to Adventure City. Because, I mean, for Pete's sake, when Captain Turbotflout tells him how for emergencies they call the Paw Patrol, his response is, "You call the who now?" Because obviously he doesn't know about the team. And so the fact that it's a rescue team made of dogs surprises him. However, they are indeed able to get him to be back on solid ground on the bridge, and everything is good. And then, of course, we find out he was delivering maple syrup, which leads to a breakfast joke from Rubble, which I actually liked. I want to just again, this is all stuff that I forgot to mention, and even if I went into an explanation in my review, I just wanted to add a little bit more detail on my thoughts for some of the stuff that we got. Also, it was nice for this rescue because they actually cut to the crowd where we see the movie versions of some of the characters from the series, such as Mayor Goodway, her purse chicken, Chickaletta, Farmer Al, Katie, Mr. Porter, and a variety of others. I know I mentioned in my review that Good Mood was the song that was used during the time that they were traveling to Adventure City. However, there are some things also that I wanted to include. When they travel, it is with the Paw Patroller, which means that this would have taken place at some point during season 2, I imagine, even though the director said it's more based off of season 1 and what they did back then. But I'd actually make the argument that either, excuse me, sorry, I'd actually make the argument that it's either set outside of season 1 during the early versions of season 2, because again, we saw in the new the Paw Patroller as a new vehicle for the team, apart from Everest joining the team also in that episode, which was her debut episode. But we saw that, and then we also saw Zuma's not his hovercraft, his submarine, which we saw in the season 2, I believe it's season 2, someone correct me if I'm wrong, but the season 2 episode of Pups Save the... I don't know why I'm forgetting this for Pete's sake. Hold on. Sorry about that. So, I did a quick check, and I believe it's Pup Save the Diving Bell. I could be wrong, but that was the one I remembered, I think, where we saw Zuma's sub for the first time. And so because of that in the Paw Patroller, my guess is the movie takes place around season 2. Then again, I'm going to make a separate video about that because there's a bit of confusion when it comes to certain parts of the movie compared to the series. But still, just, I wanted to mention that. In regards to just some of the stuff like the Paw Patroller, where it didn't arrive in the series until season 2. But of course, they go in the Paw Patroller to Adventure City and everything, and of course, when they get there, the pups are excited, minus Chase a little bit, because we see that he's still a bit scared, given how big the city looks to him, even though he has grown. And of course, I mentioned in the review how Rebel mentions they supersized it, which of course, that doesn't really help Chase in regards to how he feels. With Liberty calling the team then, which I know I'm kind of jumping around, but I'm getting to the stuff that I missed. And of course, this is before they leave. She calls them and lets them know what's going on with Humdinger wanting to be mayor of Adventure City, which again makes no sense because he's mayor of fucking Bottom, for crying out loud. Her telling them he wants to be mayor of Adventure City, and his plans aren't exactly good ones. I liked her enthusiasm when she called. I liked how Ryan and the others were calm but also a little confused. And of course, we get some interesting interaction with Ryder, with, them all disagreeing that, yeah, Humdinger's not the best mayor and everything. And I think one of the only things the movie never answered was how on earth she was able to call them. Because we never really got an answer in regards to, like, whose phone she used, or if it was someone who was living in Adventure City who knows about the Paw Patrol. They never answer that. Speaking of, the way she gets in is, of course, she disguises herself as a scarf around a woman's neck to get past Humdinger's bodyguards. Well, actually not bodyguards, really his assistants. Which, I don't know if anybody else kind of caught this or if they thought the same thing, but the way that Humdinger's assistants, whenever they argue or they'll do a pity hand flapping kind of fighting and everything, I don't know why, but for some reason their mannerisms, just the way that they would argue and such, it reminded me of Horace and Jasper from the 101 Dalmatians movie, animated version, of course. And again, Obviously, that's a totally different series, and it's made by Disney. It has no connection with Paw Patrol at all. I thought the comparison was funny, just because that's what I thought whenever they were on screen, and that was like a good majority of the time. Um, so that was another thing. Um, there's a part of my review also that I need to apologize for because I was explaining the concept of backstories and how it felt, based on the series at least, how Rubbles was the one that felt the most complete compared to other additions on the team. However, when I mentioned the pups from the jungle and the Antarctic, which of course would be Everest and Tracker, I accidentally said Ella and Tuck. Correction, that is wrong. I meant to say Everest and Tracker, not Ella and Tuck. Ella and Tuck, of course, have their mighty powers, with Ella being able to grow to a giant size, and Tuck being able to shrink to small size. Plus, they didn't arrive until many seasons later, compared to Everest and Tracker, where Everest arrived in season 2 and Tracker around season, I think, 3 or 4, one of those two. But they arrived much sooner to the team compared to Tuck and Ella. I just wanted to make that correction. So there's that. Another thing too, and I don't know if I mentioned this, is during the second rescue when it comes to the subway train tracks getting messed up and everything and the vehicle being upside down. I forgot if I ever mentioned this, but Rubble and Rocky do a really good job with that rescue because basically it was make sure that it's stable in in regards to the tracks because the wind was blowing it around. And that of course makes sense given what happened with the emergency. So of course Rocky was using his recycling truck, much bigger of course, with the claws to hold the tracks stable while Sky would secure it from the air. And then of course Rubble, which I thought this was a nice addition. Cement. He actually uses cement to make sure that the bottom of the pipes holding the structure with the cement, he uses a quick dry cement, and we even see his machine with the cement in it spin, and it just kind of flies out. But the idea being that if he covers it with cement and then it dries, it's able to make sure the pipes can't move. So that was a nice surprise in regards to his vehicle, and then of course what Rocky and Sky did. But I mentioned them because I don't know if I mentioned that particular aspect of the rescue in my review or if they helped. I just wanted to make sure that I gave them credit. One moment. I want to just look at my notes again. Back. Okay, so there's 3 more points I want to make for this video. So, there is actually a character I forgot to mention in the movie that is mostly played for funny moments and or comedy, and for some reason I just forgot him. I think his name is Rocket, but he's a terrier who basically chases his tail because he thinks that it's an object that he needs to chase and get rid of to protect his friends. And it's sort of a running joke when Chase gets to the obedient school much later on. And of course, he is funny in regards to chasing his own tail, thinking it's a threat when it's not. And of course, we actually see him in a poster a little later on after that. And of course, there is actually a nice, I believe, a nice ending in the movie for him because I think he's the last dog poster to come down from the bulletin board, which means that all the dogs from the obedience school are found and returned to their owners. And although we see Rocket's poster come down, I don't think we ever saw him actually get adopted or what have you, but I'd like to hope he did. But then again, I wanted to mention that just in general, Rocket and sort of like why he's in the movie and everything. Just because for some reason I forgot about him. Yeah, go figure. I remember Chase. I remember Liberty. I remember Barney. I remember the poodle and the other golden retriever-ish dog that Chase interacts with. But but for Pete's sake, I forget Rocket of all dogs. See, I apologize. Um, Going back to Chase, there's actually something I totally forgot to mention that I was also really impressed with him. In particular, his vehicle, which was, and this was totally new, but we see twice in the final rescue of the movie, as well as the very first rescue with the fireworks, we see a feature on his police cruiser that we've never seen before, which is a shield. And the idea with the shield is that it's a piece of metal with a screen in the middle that allows Chase and his vehicle to be protected from anything that could be harmful falling down. Excuse me. The shield protects Chase and his vehicle from anything that's falling down or could be harmful to his vehicle in general. For example, with the final rescue, it was falling debris from the building from Humdinger Heights when the building was falling down, and of course, you have the storm itself with the wind and rain and everything, which didn't help. And so he obviously did that for protection purposes. And he ended up doing that, of course, before he got his motorcycle out, which, again, I'm not going to say anything else because I already went over a lot of this in my review, which that's going to be the next video after this one. But I wanted to mention that. However, there was actually a moment that rather shocked me. During the first rescue, he ended up putting up his shield for protection from the fireworks, and we actually see that as he's turning a corner to go towards where the emergency is happening, we actually see a firework come flying and hit his vehicle dead center in the front, and yet his vehicle is not harmed in any way, nor Chase being inside the vehicle, which, oh my gosh, I didn't expect that. I mean, obviously, I knew the shield was going to be for protection, but getting hit with a firework, oh my word, that kind of boosted the danger level there, and also awesome shot. So yeah, that's another thing I just forgot to mention in general was Chase's shield, plus what happened in the beginning rescue, as well as why he had it available and he used it in the final emergency as well. And the last part I want to mention is actually something that is more for clarification. In my review, I mentioned how when Chase failed the first mission and Ryder was comforting him, I mentioned how Ryder basically explains to Chase that as long as he's okay, that's all that matters. There's actually a little bit I forgot to mention. On the one hand, I believe Ryder did mean to say this. However, what he actually says in the movie, when Chase is disappointed that he forgot to disconnect his parachute and as a result put him in danger, and also him not being able to save the people on the balcony, Ryder mentions to Chase in the movie how well everyone pulled together, meaning the team, and everyone got out safe, and that's all that matters. So, from Ryder's perspective, he's basically saying that your safety is important, but what matters is the fact that everyone was able to work together regardless of what happened, and in the end, as long as everyone worked together and the citizens who needed help in Adventure City ended up getting rescued and everyone was fine, that's all that matters. Now, granted, of course, this is important in regards to a rescue mission, but obviously from Chase's point of view, because he's so disappointed that he failed, he obviously puts more pressure on himself to do a good job, and then when it didn't work out, he was disappointed in what he didn't do and how he could have done things better, and like he said, what if something bad happened to those people and it was all his fault? So again, it adds, like I say in the review, it adds growth and different points of view for both Chase and Ryder. But the reason I wanted to include this was because I didn't want to accidentally mislead or confuse anyone with how I interpreted that scene, because obviously I said something that wasn't what Ryder actually said in the movie, so I wanted to clarify what he said, of course, being, well, everyone worked together, and as long as everyone is safe, that's all that matters. I mean, he doesn't use those words exactly, but that's basically what he's saying, in a sense. But I wanted to just clarify that because I didn't want to confuse anyone compared to if I had just released a review on its own and didn't clarify anything. You're also probably wondering why I'm making a video about this instead of putting all this in the description of my review. The reason I'm doing this is because I just felt like a audio version of this would be better compared to trying to explain all of this in the review and confusing people by accident or not being able to word things where people might not understand some of the things I forgot to mention in my review. But still, I just wanted to mention all of this so you guys understood some of the stuff that I either forgot to mention in my review or stuff that I wanted to explain separately so that way I didn't confuse anyone. So I guess you guys could call this a sneak preview, if you will. But still, that's all I wanted to discuss. I want to check real quick to make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, so I pretty much covered everything, but there's one last thing I wanted to mention. Although I mentioned Liberty calling the team and everything, I also wanted to mention her contribution in regards to the fireworks rescue. So after the fireworks rescue, the team, minus Chase and Ryder, of course, are getting pictures because of what they've done saving citizens from the fire. Excuse me. Sorry about that. But still, they get pictures as a reward for what they did in regards to saving people from the fire in Avenger City. Liberty, however, notices this and she asks, in a kind way but also slightly pushy, if anyone wants to take pictures with her since she's an honorary member of the team. On the one hand, I understand she wants to help out and be a part of the team, but at the same time, it also felt like, yeah, I get she wants to help out and be recognized, but she didn't really do anything. So even if she did get a picture, it's really just showing her with the team, not really something significant like Marshall putting the fire out or Ryder getting alerted by Chase when he was in danger. So I can understand why she'd want her picture, but she didn't really contribute much apart from helping them through the city to get to their destination because, again, they ran into traffic and they don't really know their way around. So she was helping them out to get to where they needed to go. So that's the only thing I forgot. I wanted to mention that. And again, I go through more of my thoughts for Liberty in my actual review. But still, I wanted to just mention all of this in regards to this video. So hopefully, everyone understands the topics more when I do in fact release my review. So that way, hopefully, no one gets confused or misled by what I say, or they notice that, oh, you forgot to mention this in your review. That's the whole reason why I'm doing this video, is to make sure that I do include stuff that I forgot to mention, that I, for some reason, just didn't mention in my review. Silly me. So I wanted to make sure I didn't leave anything out. And if I do, in fact, leave anything out, either in my review or this video or both, please let me know so that way I can address my thoughts for whatever topics I may have missed in my review properly. I want to give my opinions as much as I can for the movie and not miss out on anything because I want to give you guys an honest review for the movie while also making sure that I'm not leaving anything important out, whether it be something big or something small. So I just wanted to let you guys know in regards to some of the stuff that I realized I forgot in my review. And again, this is kind of a sneak peek, if you will. But I wanted to do this first before the review, so that way you guys had an understanding of basically some stuff to expect in regards to what's not in my review but you still get my opinion based on, remembering afterwards, oh my goodness, I forgot to mention this, or I forgot to mention that. So basically, these are little add ons to my review. It's just that I forgot to mention these topics, and I wanted to just let you guys know my thoughts in regards to things that I, by accident, did not have in my review, and to make sure you guys understood that I really did try to make sure that everything was covered. But once I realized that I messed up, I just decided I'm gonna have to probably make a separate review and not put stuff in the description, because I don't want to confuse anyone, and I also want to give my honest thoughts in regards to certain aspects of the movie that, for one reason or another, I just for some reason forgot to include, even though I did intend to actually have everything covered. However, I believe I do have at least 85% to 90% of the movie covered in my actual review. I want to make sure that I clarified certain things and that I didn't miss anything. If I do, in fact, forget to mention something, please let me know in the comments, whether it be this video or my review video, because again, I just want to make sure I can give you guys my opinions about the movie to the best of my ability. Thank you so much. The next video will be the official review. Have a good day. Bye.